me ask you a question. How often do you proofread your work before you turn it in? Do you do it for every assignment, or only when you know your grade is affected by it? Maybe not even then. Fact is, most students I've taught will admit that they rarely, if ever, proofread their work. Why do you think that is? Well, for most students, if you fail to proofread a document, then you might lose a few points on the assignment. And for most of us, that's something we can live with, to save a few extra minutes of our time. But what do you think happens in the real world if you choose not to proofread something on the job? You're probably thinking you'll get fired, and, well, that might happen. Most of the time it doesn't. Instead, what often happens is you become a meme. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me show you. One of the most common mistakes people don't catch when they fail to proofread are spelling mistakes. When you don't spell something right, it makes you and your company look unprofessional, and you become a meme like this one. Now, this guy really put the cool in school. But he should have learned while he was there that it was important to check your spelling, especially if you're going to be writing with paint. Now, how about this H&M designer? Apparently, he didn't have quite enough perspiration to achieve the status of genius. However, this one really takes the cake. I've always believed that if you can't spell the name of a company, you probably shouldn't work there, especially if you can't spell it right after multiple tries. But hey, third time's the charm, right? So hopefully you can see that a simple spelling mistake in the real world can be a huge embarrassment that in today's digital world is hard to erase. Thankfully, software today helps you fix that by providing helpful cues whenever you type words wrong. In a word processing software, there are little squiggles underneath the words to show you when they aren't spelled right. No, I said squiggles, not wiggles. That's better. Now, what color are the squiggles when a word is misspelled? If you thought red, then you are correct. Red squiggles underneath a word indicate that the word is misspelled and needs to be corrected. Another common mistake writers make is grammar mistakes, like punctuation. These can be bad because they can accidentally alter the entire meaning of the sentence and confuse the readers. Take this for example. How cool would it be to work for SpongeBob, right? But I always thought he worked for Krusty Krab. And what about this one? I'll bet this toilet stays really clean, because in my whole life, I've never once met a disabled elderly pregnant child. What's sad is that these scenarios could easily be fixed with a tiny little period, yet no one ever thought to pull out a Sharpie marker and fix it. So maybe take this person's advice and use punctuation so that you don't sound like a psycho. Now sometimes we've used correct spelling and punctuation, but we've used the wrong word by accident. These can also change the whole meaning of your message and create confusing problems. If you were to park here illegally, what would happen? Well, according to the sign, probably nothing, because it says right there that illegally parked cars will be just fine. That would be a tough court case to argue against, since your sign clearly says it's fine. And the sad thing is, look how long that sign's been there. It's all rusted out, and in all those years, no one ever thought to fix it. Or what about this one? I don't think I could work here, because I don't remember if I washed my hands before I was living. Do you? And then there's my personal favorite. I'm really curious what happens if you press no to this prompt. So as you can see, grammar mistakes can have serious consequences for a business. Not only do you look foolish, like with spelling mistakes, but you can risk confusing your customers and causing all kinds of problems. What makes it worse is that grammar mistakes are hard to catch because our brains automatically correct them for us. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to show you another sign in a second, and I want you to see just how long it takes you to find the mistake on the page. Are you ready? Go. Did you find it? How many times did you have to read it before you found the mistake in the spelling? See, our minds automatically correct simple mistakes like these. It's how our brain processes information. You see, your mind doesn't read a word left to right like you think it does. It actually processes all of the letters at once. This means that as long as the first and last letter of a word are in their correct places, you could scramble the word any way you want, and your mind could still read it just as fast as if it were spelled correctly. They call this phenomenon typoglycemia. Don't believe me? Try it for yourself. Here's a complete paragraph of typoglycemic words. Try reading it right now and see how well you can read it. Pretty cool, right? Your brain is incredible. But that can hurt us in writing because it fixes problems in your work so you don't even notice them and fail to correct them. Thankfully, word processing systems also have the ability to identify potential grammar mistakes. They use squiggles to mark these too. Can you guess what color these squiggles are? Well, here it depends on the software. If you are using Microsoft Word, they will be either green or blue depending on the type of error. With Google Docs, all of the grammar mistakes are always underlined in blue squiggles. So there you have it. Failing to proofread your work and check for spelling and grammar mistakes may not have harsh consequences now, but as you go out into the business world, they can make you look foolish and cause massive confusion. Or worse, you might end up a meme. And believe me, you don't want to become a meme. So let's proofread our work, okay? To learn more tools and features in the Google Suite family of apps, check out more of my videos on YouTube or visit ToriNorman.com.